Great. Thanks for joining me, everyone, once again. So we are at the Bucks 11 Plus Information event. Before we jump into the various topics, let's look at what we'll be covering as part of today's presentation. We'll start by looking at a list of all the Buckingham grammar schools. We'll have a brief look at the admission policies and an introduction to the Bucks 11 Plus exam pattern. We'll talk about the scoring system in a little bit of detail. Finally, we'll come down to how to prepare for the exams, talk a little bit about mock exams, and then we'll answer some questions, which you guys may have. So throughout this presentation, if something comes to mind, please jot it down. And towards the end, we'll have time to take on some questions. Yeah. You don't need to write down anything. So if you find any information useful, don't worry. A copy of this presentation as well as a recording of this video will be provided to you on Monday. So you don't need to write down anything. You will have access to all this information on Monday. A small disclaimer, whatever information we are presenting is part of our research and experience in this market. We always encourage parents to look at the target school's website and reconfirm everything. Yeah, it's just a small disclaimer which we need to put. Now let's talk about Buckingham Grammar Schools. Now, Buckingham is a very good area to live in terms of grammar school admissions because we have got a lot of grammar schools per unit of population density. Yeah. So we have got 13 grammar schools in Buckingham. And this map shows us where all those grammar schools are. So we have got a big concentration of grammar schools towards London. And near Buckingham, we have the Royal Latin School as well. So this map helpfully lists all 13 grammar schools in Buckingham. Now let's talk about general admission policies. So obviously each school will have their own specific nuances in terms of admission policies, but these are general guidelines which are applicable across. So in order to get admission in Buckinghamshire grammar schools, you need to score a total of 121 plus in the exam 11 plus exams. So this 121 is the standardized score. Yeah. So what is the standardized score we'll be covering in some of the later slides. So basically you need a score of 121 plus to pass. Now in Buckingham, a score of 121 is the same as 150. It's the same as 160, which is almost the highest score you can get. Because as long as you clear this cutoff, it doesn't matter how high your score was. Yeah. So you just need to clear this cutoff. So that is the score you need. After that, in case the school has more applications than seats, which is always the case for grammar schools, then the first priority is generally given to looked after children. So these are children who have special education needs, or they have been looked after by the council at some point. So those kind of students get first preference. Obviously, those who have cleared the 121 mark, then this criteria applies. Secondly, many of the schools have a provision for children of school teachers. So especially where the school teacher has been with the school for a period of 2 years, then those students get preference. Then there is a defined catchment area for each school. Now, this is very much different to the distance criteria. So each school has a defined catchment, which is very near to the school. It is very rare for the admission to be fulfilled within this defined catchment area, except in one case this year. All schools went beyond this criteria. So then the important thing becomes is distance. So most of the seats are decided by distance because these criteria generally never fill up the complete number of seats. Yeah, we'll discuss about this in the next slide in a little more detail. Finally, the main criteria which is used is the distance based from the school. So assuming you have got a score of 121, most likely your admission is going to be decided on how far you live from the school. In case you live close to the school, based on the past couple of years data, if you fall within the catchment or you're likely to fall within the distance criteria, then you're likely to get admission. Yeah, we'll talk about this in the next slide a little bit more. So in the next 2-3 slides, we are going to talk about the various Buckinghamshire grammar schools and how far the distance criteria went in the past 2 years. So for example, let's pick up the first one. This is the Aylesbury Grammar School. So Aylesbury Grammar School is the boys' grammar school. So this is specifically for boys. This column will tell you if it's a boys' school, girls' school, or a mixed school. Yeah. This is the planned admission numbers. So they planned for admission of 186 students in 2024. Move-in date is the 1st of September. So in case you are looking at admission next year, so that is you want to join in 2025, you will be giving the exam this year. So that means you should be in the catchment area by the 1st of September this year. Yeah. So more than 1 year prior to you actually going into the school, you need to be in the catchment area. As you will see, for most schools, the move-in date is 1st of September, except for the Dr. Chandler School, where it is the 1st of April. Yeah. So all schools in Buckingham have their move-in dates 1st of September, except for both schools in Dr. Chandler's, where it is 1st of April. Now, this column tells you what the catchment distance went up to in 2023. So for Aylesbury Grammar School, students who lived within a distance of 14.288 miles and cleared the exam were offered admission. This year, so that is for students who are going into the exam this year, into the school this year, the distance was 13.184 miles. Yeah. So you can see the movement of distance. The catchment has actually decreased for Aylesbury Grammar School. Now let's pick up another one. For Chesham Grammar, for example, the move-in date was 1st of September. Last year, the catchment went up to 6.28 miles. And this year it went to 9.68 miles. So the catchment increased significantly. So as you can see from these figures, the catchment does vary from year to year, and it does depend a little bit on the luck. For example, if you were living around 4 miles from the school, then based on previous year's data, I would say it's quite a safe location to be in. But if you were, let's say, 7 miles from the school, then it's a little bit of a chance game. Depends on how far the catchment goes next year. So this table is hopefully going to be useful. As I said, you will get this table in the email that will come to you Monday. So don't worry about copying any of the data. Let's look at the other schools in Buckingham. So John Hampton, Royal Grammar School, Royal Latin, all of the schools have this information displayed. All of the schools here have their move-in dates as the 1st of September. Yeah. Now, what we are going to do is a lot of parents ask, how do I evaluate catchment areas? Am I in the catchment? Is this postcode in the catchment, etc.? So what we are going to do is we are going to do a small exercise, which you guys can do at home as well, which will help you understand if you are in the catchment or not. Yeah. So for Aylesbury Grammar School, in 2024, the catchment went to 13.18 miles. Yeah. So this is the postcode of Aylesbury Grammar School. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this postcode, and I'm going to show you how you can evaluate this using a tool. Let's go back to this slide. Okay. Now this is the link I'm going to share with you. This PPT will be there in your mailbox on Monday. So what we are going to do is we are going to put this tool on. Just type this in, you will get the screen. Yeah. Now, Aylesbury Grammar School, the postcode is HP21 7RP. So I'm going to take this postcode and I'm going to put it here. Yeah. And let's see what the distance was. It was 13.18. So I'm going to put 13.18 and I will ask it to draw a new circle. So what it has done is it has taken the Aylesbury High School postcode and it has drawn a circle around it. So what you can do is now you can zoom in and you can actually see which areas are likely to come in the catchment and which are not. For example, let's say you were in Milton Keynes and No Hill, then last year the catchment was just fell short and you would have been out of catchment last year. Now, another important thing to share is on each school's website, so somebody is asking, can we have link in the chat? I will share the link at the end of the presentation. Yeah, you will also get it in an email on Monday. So now each school will have this catchment map. Yeah, let's see what this means. Now each school has an inner catchment. So if you fall within the inner catchment, you are ranked higher on the priority criteria. So for Aylesbury Grammar, it comes, so this is Milton Keynes. So it actually comes halfway between Aylesbury and Milton Keynes. So if you just zoom out a bit, so the defined catchment is probably this line somewhere here. So as you can see, the actual distance is much beyond the defined catchment lines. So for most schools, this is true that the defined catchment doesn't fill all the spaces and you actually go beyond the defined catchment. So hopefully this tool will help you understand how in or out of catchment you are. And if you really want to do a thorough exercise, you can look at the catchment map of the school and then try to plot it as well on this, just to see if you are in the inner catchment or you are not in the inner catchment. That being said, let's look at one more thing. So let's look at Dr. Chandler's. So Dr. Chandler's high school, that is for girls, all seats were filled within the defined catchment. So this is the only school where, it did not go as per distance and it only went by defined catchment. Yeah. So like I said, defined catchment doesn't usually fill all the seats and usually you will get some spillover. Hopefully guys, this makes sense. Now this link here, it's a clickable link. This will take you to the Buckinghamshire Council website, which has all this information of the past years, how far the catchment went. So I've plotted 2023 and 2024, but if you wanted a couple of years prior, you could possibly get it from here. Yeah. Now we come to the all important question. How do you choose the right school for your child? Yeah. Now, a lot of us prefer to go by academic rankings, but I would like to impress upon you, there are other parameters to consider as well. So let's have a look at those. So let's list all of them. Now, academic ranking, like I said, is important to a lot of us. And in a couple of slides, we will see how each school ranks academically. But I would impress upon you to consider other factors as well. For example, commute. How far is the area where you're planning to live and how much is the commute going to be to the school? I know some friends who live in London and they got admission into Sutton and they had a commute time of up till 1 hour plus each way. So the child was spending something like 3 hours commuting to and from the school. Now that was a big hassle because in secondary school you get a lot of homework and you have extracurriculars as well. So they were not able to cope up with it. And so they had to withdraw the child from one of the Sutton schools and put them in the local comprehensive. So, do give commute some weightage as well. How far is the commute going to be to school? And, let that be one of the important criteria for you to consider. For a lot of parents, whether it's a mixed or a single sex school is important. I don't think there's a right decision either way. Some parents, want their child to be in a mixed sex school, while others want them to be in a single sex school. Yeah. So whatever is your preference, then, you can give the schools a weightage as per that as well. School demographics, school infrastructure, school specialty. So is the school known for something specific? If your child is into sports, what kind of sports infrastructure does the school have? How are the science labs? And for some people, demographics are important. Is the school representative of the community in general of let's say the UK, or is it very polarized towards certain areas or certain people? So it's not important to everyone, but if it's important to you, then you should look into it. Now, the best way to determine these things is to go for open days. So most schools have open days when they will invite parents to come into the school, interact with the student body, interact with the head teacher and the teachers, and the school will tell you, what the school is known for. That's a very important thing to do. If this is one of your target schools, make sure you go for the open days and learn as much about the school as possible. In most cases, this will be very helpful in making your decision whether that's the right school for you. Yeah. So don't just go by academic ranking. Look at this whole portfolio of things and then make up your mind. Now, coming to academic ranking, there are a number of rankings which are available, which rank schools on various parameters. The one we are going to recommend is the Good School Guide. Now, again, this is a clickable link. So once you get the PPT, CTRL click, and you can see the link there. So you will be able to go to this particular link. Now, this ranks the schools on two parameters. One is attainment rate and one is progress rate. So let me tell you what these parameters are. So attainment rate is taking 8 most important GCSE subjects, how students perform in those 8 subjects. So it ranks students as per that. Progress rate measures that when the students came into the school, what was their level of, these 8 GCSE subjects versus when they left the school, what was the level? So what has been the change or what has been the value added by the school? So in this particular list, we have sorted it by progress rate scores. We think that's a very good indicator of how the school is contributing to the child's development. And, we have this ranking of the Buckinghamshire schools for you to consider. Now, admission policy move-in dates, like I discussed, for most schools, the move-in date is the 1st of September. For Dr. Chandler's, both boys and girls schools, it's the 1st of April. So plan your move early. So I know so a couple of years ago, a lot of parents used to do this. So they used to wait for the results, which used to come in middle of October. And then by the end of October, they had to move because 31st October is the CAF deadline. So they had around 2 weeks to plan their move. But this is no longer possible because the council has shifted the catchment move-in dates to 1st of September. So now you need to be in catchment before actually giving the exam. So it's a very big decision to take. Obviously, a lot of parents are concerned if my child doesn't get in, what do I do? So the best strategy is to plan thoroughly, to study thoroughly, and make sure you get you get a score of 121 plus. Now Buckingham 11 plus is not as difficult as a lot of the London 11 plus exams. So I think if the child has done 1 year's worth of preparation, then you have a very good chance of getting in one of these schools. So highly advise that you take that chance. Obviously, a lot depends upon your personal circumstances as well. Now let's look at some timelines, important dates. So this is for the 2025 intake. So that is students who will be joining this year. No, sorry, this is for the students who will be joining next year. So who are giving the exam this year, right? So 3rd of May was the date when registration opens. Now for most Buckinghamshire primary school students, you don't need to register on a separate form and you are auto-enrolled into the exam. But I would strongly recommend talking to your school to find out if this is the case. For example, Milton Keynes falls within Buckinghamshire, but the Milton Keynes schools need to register separately. Students need to register for the exam. Similarly, if you are in a private school, you may have to register for the exam separately. Yeah. So talk to your school, make sure you know if you need to register for the exam. 14th of June was the closing date for registrations. Then 1st of September is the cutoff date for move-in for address. 10th of September is the practice date. 12th September is the date of the actual exam. Then middle of October is when you can expect the results of the exam. And by 31st of October, that is the CAF deadline for filling out the council form for schools. You would know if you have got a passing score or not. So you would know if you want to list the grammar schools as an option. If you have got under 121, then you might not want to list these schools. Finally, the 1st of March, or possibly this is the 3rd of March next year, is the National Offer Day, when you will know if your child has secured admission in one of the schools. So obviously, these are timelines for this year. For students who are looking at next year, the timelines will change, but they have not been announced yet. Once they are, we will be announcing in our WhatsApp group. So in case you are part of that group, you will be updated automatically. Now let's talk about 11 plus in a little more detail. Now 11 plus is basically a selective entrance exam for entry into one of the 13 Buckinghamshire schools. So this is for entry into year 7. That means the exam itself is taken at the start of year 6. So students who are looking at entry next year, they are giving the exam now at the start of their year 6. Now let's talk about the exam pattern and scoring. Now Buckingham 11 plus exam consists of 2 papers. So there are 2 papers with a break in between. The first paper is going to be English and VR, which is going to be approximately 45 minutes. The rough split is English 25 questions, 25 minutes, VR 20 minutes, around 36 questions. They can vary a little bit, but approximately we would expect 36 questions. Paper 2 is going to be maths and NVR, again around 45 minutes. Math section is usually 25 questions, 25 minutes, and NVR 20 minutes, 40 questions. Yeah, so this is a very standard kind of a format of the exam. The exam board is GL assessment, and all the questions are multiple choice only. So you don't have to write anything. There is no creative writing element in marks. So all the exams are MCQ based. Obviously, this year, this information can change from year to year, although we don't expect it to change, that wildly. Most probably, this is going to be the exam pattern. But do check, any email you get from the council or on the school website if there is any announcement. If you are a part of our WhatsApp group, if we come across anything, obviously we'll also share in the group. Now, this is a very rough breakdown of the various exam topics. This is not a comprehensive guide, but it does cover the main exam topics. Yeah. So again, you don't need to take a screenshot or anything. This will come to you on Monday. Let's talk about the scoring now. When we talk about scoring, we need to understand three terms. First is the raw score. Now, the raw score basically tells you how many questions you got right. So let's say the exam has 25 questions in maths and you get 20 of them right. So your raw score is 20 or 80%. So that's your raw score. Easy to understand, isn't it? But raw score doesn't actually tell you the relative performance on how your child has done compared to others. For example, in an easy exam, a raw score of 80% might not be enough in a very easy exam. In a very tough exam, even 70% might be enough. So, the raw score doesn't really tell you about relative performance. So that is why a lot of schools use standardized scores. Now, standardized scores can typically vary between 40 to 160. And, generally 100 is the mean standardized score, but the way Buckinghamshire does it, generally 100 is not the mean score. It's a little bit more than that. If you get a pass score of 121 or over, that means you have passed the Buckinghamshire 11 plus exam. Yeah. And around 33% of the students are expected to achieve this score. So like I said, it is not as competitive as the London schools. It is still very competitive, but relatively not as much. Finally, we come to something called age standardized score. So what happens is within a year group, you will have students which could differ in up till a year in their ages. Yeah. So you could have a student who's almost 1 year younger, older than the youngest child. So to account for this, because the council believes the child who is older has had more time for brain development and their brain is naturally expected to be a little bit faster. So just to account for this, the younger children in the group, say they get a few extra points. Yeah. From experience, this could be something like 3 to 4 points in the extreme case. So it's not like end of the world kind of a thing. When the standardized scores vary from 60 or 40 to 160, so a couple of points make a difference, but not so much that a deserving older child cannot get through. Yeah. So this is about age standardization. So younger students get a few extra points. Now we come to the all important question. How do we prepare for the exam? Now, first, what we are going to do is the theory coverage. So there is a certain amount of theory that needs to be covered. So in maths, there are certain formulas you need to know. There are certain concepts you need to know. In VR, there are certain question types you need to come across. Similarly, in NVR, you need to know about spatial reasoning. You need to know about the various question types. So there is a theory element to it, which needs to be covered. If you're going for the cheapest solution, we can recommend bond handbooks and CGP study books. So what these do is they cover the theory aspects first, and then they give you some practice questions. So by going through these books, you will come across all the main question types, and you will come across a lot of the main concepts as well. So these books are really good for doing a base, developing a strong base. And I would recommend one of these sets at least. So you don't need to do both of them. I think if you do one of these, that should be quite good. Now, if you are looking at more a video-based or a subject-wise camp kind of a thing, then we do a lot of summer camps. When I say summer camp, these are basically week-long holiday camps. Yeah. So what we have is, this is the example of our English camp. So we cover all the theory elements, which are relevant to that topic within a week's time. And in that week, students get video lessons. They get access to our partner resources for additional practice. They get tons and tons of practice of exam type of questions, daily assignments, and we cover all theory topics as part of the camp. And we run our camps as week-long contests. So students who do really well, they get prizes and certificates at the end as well. Yeah. So we do this to involve the students. And the feedback has been, students really get involved. They want to get the best score. And this is very motivating for them. So we employ this kind of a methodology. Now, we do these camps on breaks. For example, October school break, December break, February break, April, May, and August break. So we do these camps in the breaks, and each camp is a week long. So all the subject-wise camps, maths, English, VR, and NVR. So you can see the schedule. So maths camp, we are going to run during the October break, then during the April break, then during the August break. Yeah. English camp will be running in December, then in April, then in August. So you can choose when to do the camps. And these camps are highly recommended because within a week, these are intensive camps. So within a week, you will cover all the theory aspects and get tons of practice as well. Then we have certain specialized courses. We have these two for vocabulary building. Vocabulary Starter is actually a course aimed at year 3 students. But a lot of year 4 students who are struggling with vocabulary also do this. And Vocabulary Booster is a course for year 5 students who are ready to give the 11 plus exam in next year. We have Accuracy Booster and Creative Writing Booster as well. Creative writing is not really that relevant for bucks, but for exams like Sutton, St. Olives, this is very important. So in case you are planning to give some of those exams as well, then this could be important as well. Hopefully this is clear, guys. Now, to continue with preparation guidelines, how do you practice regular exam style questions? Again, Bond and CGP have their 10-minute tests and assessment papers. So these are really good in terms of regular practice. At Oxbridge Institute, we have our online books, which are divided into 10-minute, 15-minute, and 20-minute tests. So these increase in the level of difficulty as you go from 10-minute to 15-minute to 20-minute, and obviously it increases in duration. So each book, for example, 20-minute tests will have 10 tests of 20-minute each at a very advanced level of difficulty. So this is how these books are divided. For bucks, we would recommend our 10-minute tests and 15-minute tests. So this is going to be more at the level of exam you could expect. The 20-minute tests are recommended for if you are going to give Sutton, QE, HBS, St. Olives, and these kind of exams. Yeah. Finally, we come to mock exams. Now, in terms of mock exams, these are books by GL themselves. So GL themselves have published these practice papers. These are highly recommended because the quality is quite nice, and you can get them from any online retailer. For example, Amazon, etc., all stock them. So you can get these books. There are 3 sets, and each set, I believe, has 4 papers in it. So you can get them either as a bundle of English, maths, verbal reasoning, non-verbal reasoning, or you can get them separately as well. Coming to competitive mock exams, where you are actually giving the exam with other students and you get a standardized report, etc. At Oxbridge Institute, we do 3 kind of exams. We do online mock exams, at-home mock exams, and physical mock exams, which are also known as in-person mock exams. So let's look at this in a little more detail. So these are our online mock exams. Our online mock start from December, and they will continue all the way up till August. With our online mock exams, you get a personalized score report, which will tell you how much score you received, what was your standardized score. Based on this performance, would you have passed or not passed in the actual exam? And it gives some very useful tips on how to improve performance as well. Then you will get raw and standardized scores and rank information. So how you did within the cohort taking that exam. And it will also tell you whether you would have passed or not passed. Detailed solutions are going to be provided. And a very unique feature with us, we'll give you 1 free test reset as well. So what that means is, let's say you take the December mock exam, you have achieved a certain percentage score. After a month, you can have us reset that mock exam for you so that the child can give it again. and you can see how much the child has retained. Because once you gave the exam, you get access to the solutions. So you try to learn those questions. And after a month's time, 2 months' time, you can ask the child to give the exam again and see how much they have actually retained. So this is a very key feature which a lot of our students use. So this is the 2024 schedule. 2025 schedule is going to be announced by October. So in about a month's time. Let's talk about physical mock exams now. These are the center-based mock exams. So these are two photos from our mock exam this year. This is from the mock exam we did in Milton Keynes, and this is the QE mock exam we did in London. With all of these physical mock exams, we have some very unique features which we offer. You obviously get a personalized score report, which will have raw standardized score and rank information, access to detailed solutions. Again, we allow you to retake the test online for free. For example, if you actually go to a center and give the exam, we will upload your responses into the online system. And maybe a month down the line, you can take the same exam free, but this time in an online environment. Again, to see how much the child has retained. One thing which is very unique to us is we allow you to keep the exam paper. Now, a lot of providers will not allow you to keep the exam paper. So then it's very hard to actually see what your child did wrong. But with our physical exams, we will always allow you to take the physical paper with you. Yeah. Our physical mock exams are priced very competitively at £40. You can compare it with other providers. And for the amount of features we offer, we think it's a very competitive price. Again, the 2025 schedule will be announced within a month's time. Finally, we have something called at-home mocks. So if you want to practice a mock exam, but you don't want to go to a center, then this is the option for you. What we do is we send the physical paper to your home. You complete the paper as per the instructions. You send us a copy of the answer sheet. You can either scan it or you can WhatsApp it. Then you receive a full score report as you would have given the exam on the day, along with all the cohort analysis. And you obviously get detailed solutions as well. So this is also a service which is very popular. We currently have 3 past exam papers which we offer as at home. This might increase in the future. Now, let me introduce you to something very new which we are trialing this year. So this year we have launched something called a selective and super selective test group. So super selective are schools which only go by scores. So they don't go by catchment. Like in Bucks, we do not have any super selective grammar schools. But schools like QE, St. Olive's, they don't go by catchment. They just go by your score, and you get offered admission based on your score. So these are called super selective schools. Generally, they are much harder to get into. So if you are also looking at, schools like QE, St. Olave, Sutton, or something like that, then this group could be for you. So what happens is every week we give students a test to complete. It could be either an English test or a maths test from one of our past mock exams. And after the mock exam, you get access to complete solutions. And we also share with you ranking. So within the cohort, you will how much you did, what percentage you got, what was your rank. We share all of that along with detailed solutions, obviously. So this is our way of getting students into regular exam habit of regular doing mocks regularly. Now, we had a free trial in the month of August where we started with really easy papers. And as we go through the year, the level of papers will get harder. So in case you're only looking at GL Bucks, then this could be a little bit on the harder side as we go through the year. But if you're also looking at exams like QE, etc., then this could be bang on. If you want to join this group, the cost of this group is £10 per week. You will get a new paper every week along with analysis and everything. People who are member of this group, they will get a lot of free courses as well. For example, all the booster courses will be offering free to members of this group, and we'll be offering deep discounts on all our online physical mocks and our camps as well. So if you want to be a part of this group, you can avail all these discounts. What we get out of it is we know how many people are going to come to our mock exams next year. So if we can pre-plan that, it always helps us. So, that's why we have started this group. We get students into the regular exam habit. And at the same time, we get certainty on how many students are going to come to our mock exam. So it's a win-win both ways. In case you missed this trial in August, but you still want to experience it, please DM me. I'll be sharing my phone number with you. WhatsApp me, and I can add you to that trial so you can give all the tests and see how the course is structured. Yeah. We'll be starting this batch middle of this month, so around 15th or 16th of September. If you want to join, let me know and I'll send you the details. Yeah. In the email that will come to you on Monday, you will have more details on this program as well. Finally, let me introduce you to a complete package which we have. This was popular with students last year. We know the cost of 11 plus education can become very excessive. So that is why we have, this package. This package comes at a one-off fee of £600, and it includes all our physical mock exams for GL at £40 a mock. That's £120. You'll get 3 physical at-home mock exams, all 5 online mock exams. You will get access to all of our subject-wise camps. You will get access to all the booster courses. So accuracy booster, vocabulary booster, a creative writing booster if you need it. All our online books will be available, and you get membership to our SSS weekly test group as well. Yeah. Anything additional we release in the year, including books or courses relevant to bugs, you will get those as well free of charge. Total value of this package is at least 1395. So this package is worth £1,400 basically, which you will get at £600. So last year, a lot of our students availed of this package, and it turned out to be very cost effective for them. So in case you are looking at a solution which doesn't hurt the pocket too much, this is something to consider. So we have a WhatsApp group. I don't think this link will be working because last year we had some hackers join in, so we had to disable the link. In case you want to be a member of our WhatsApp group, please DM me. I will share my number here. Let me type my. So this is my WhatsApp number. If you message me, I can add you to that group if you're not a member already, or you can email me on this particular link. We have a live chat which is available on the website as well in case you want to use that. Yeah. So guys, with this, we come to the end of the presentation. Hopefully you've got some good insight into what the process entails and what we can offer to support you on your journey. In case you have any questions, please put it in the chat now and we can have a look at those. Yeah. Okay, somebody wants the link in the chat. I assume you want the link to the map. Let me give you the link to the map software. We'll type the link in the chat so everyone should have it. And like I said, you will have this presentation sent to you on Monday. So you will have all the links there. Yeah. Any other queries, please put it in the chat. Okay, somebody is asking what is the difference between GL bugs and QE in terms of exam pattern. Now, QE is a much harder school to get into than GL. In GL bugs, we have 13 grammar schools in Buckinghamshire, and the pass rate is 1 in 3. So 1 out of every 3 students passes the 121. In QE, there are around 120 seats, and there are around 3,000 students who are giving that exam. So that doesn't mean the selection to application ratio is that bad, because a lot of these students want to go to Sutton, they want to go to Tiffin, they want to go into St. Olive's as well. But still, the selection to application ratio is quite lopsided. So the QE exam is a lot harder. It only has English and math sections, so it doesn't have VR and NVR. Each section is around 50 minutes long, and the level of difficulty is much harder. Again, in QE, you can have things like poem-based passages, which you would ideally not expect in GL. There is no rule that it cannot come. But based on past history, we don't get poems in GL bugs. But QE has a pattern of trying it out after every couple of years. So there are some differences in exam pattern, mostly about the difficulty of the exam. If you give some QE mocks and GL mocks, you will see the difference. But hopefully this gives you a little bit of insight into what the differences can be. Yeah. So somebody is asking, how do your camps run? So our subject camps, they are meant to cover the whole syllabus for a particular topic, let's say English, in 1 week's time. So what we do is we have a lot of videos sharing key theoretical aspects. For example, you could have a video on how to attempt passage type questions. What are the various strategies you could employ? We could have 1 day lesson on grammar. So what are the rules of grammar you need to keep in mind? What are the rules of punctuation to keep in mind? We could have a session of spellings. So we would have various video-based lessons. And after that, you have assignments to complete in the day. You will also be given access to partner resources for additional practice. So all in all, within a week's time, you will cover the entire range of theory and you will get access to over 400 question types, yeah, which are important for the exam. So these camps are designed to bring a step change in your child's performance. So once they enter the camp and when they leave the camp, there should be a big difference in their capability levels. So that's the way these camps have been designed. Yeah. Are there any out of catchment seats in Buckinghamshire? Unfortunately, Buckinghamshire does not have any schools which do out of catchment. So that means they don't go purely by merit. You need a score of 121 and then you need to be in catchment distance wise. So you need to be within the distance allocation for that particular year to get admission. Yeah. When latest can you apply after receiving result in October? Planning an important visit to India on 16th October. So somebody is saying they are going to be away out of the country. So when do you need to apply for the CAF form? Now CAF form can be completed online. So you don't need to be based in the UK. In case you are in India or elsewhere, you can just complete it online. What you need to keep in mind is the deadlines are based on UK time. So if the deadline is, let's say, 12 midnight on the 31st of October, so that is UK time. So as long as you stick to that, my advice will be do not leave it till the last minute because sometimes the website is very busy. So, at least to try to do it a couple of days prior. Yeah. Somebody saying, if I take the camp, how long will I have access to the videos after the camp? So let's say you do the camp in October this year. You will have access to all the course material till November of next year. Yeah. So you can watch the video as many times. You can try the quizzes if you want again. We can reset for you once if you really want to. So all the material will be available. The only thing we ask is log in to your account at least once in a couple of months, because we have a policy of deactivating, accounts which have not been used for 2-3 months. So just log in once to keep the account active, and then you will have access till November of next year. Yeah. Okay, guys, any more queries you have, please put it in the chat. We can have a look at those as well. Like I said, you will get access to this recording, the PPT, and more details about the SSS program in the email on Monday. Any queries, my number is there. You can reach out to me directly, or you can email me on sumit@oxbridgeinstitute.co.uk. Thanks a lot, guys, for attending. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to working with you in the next year. Yeah, thank you. Bye.